What's up, y'all? Good night, good morning, whatever you consider it. I usually don't get on here when I'm not feeling my best, right? But I'm feeling compelled to talk about something. So let's talk about it. So, my topic today is being too nice. In my life, I have always, I was taught that being nice was the right thing to do. And with and let's pile the last video I made on top of it, seeking validation, right? So when you're being taught to be nice, you feel as though when you're being nice, um, there should be some type of reward for being nice, which that is what you're supposed to be doing, right? But sometimes you can overextend yourself and become too nice. And when you become too nice to people, they walk over you. Um, and I find myself doing, just overextending myself in a lot of areas. But tonight I want to focus on my kids. Now I have 6 children, and I started having children at 18. Okay. I didn't have much to offer a child at 18, emotionally, financially, psychologically, you name it, right? But I caught myself doing the best that I could. And when you brought up all with, you're supposed to be nice to people in general, and you're supposed to be nice, um, of course, to your children, right? And of course, they have times where you reprimand them, and because you can't be nice all the time, right? However, there came a time in raising my kids, I would say it was about a year, where I felt the need to reach out to daddies, which there's only two, okay, amongst the 6 children. Don't get started with me. But so I reached out to daddies. There was only 4 at the time. And I needed them to hold him down for a minute. So, of course, once you pull yourself back together and you put yourself back in a position of power, unfortunately, the children don't understand the moves that you made. From there, me knowing that my children felt some type of way, I began to overcompensate for that moment in time. And I felt at the time that it was the best thing to do to bring bonds back together and just make up for the time that I wasn't there in their eyes, because from a child's point of view, you don't see what the parent may be going through or whatever. And this is not a pity party, okay? We just talking. So in me trying to overcompensate, which is being too nice, I wound up spoiling my children. And that is so freaking funny to me, because how do you spoil 6 kids and you don't have shit? Well, at least in my eyes, I did. You know what I'm saying? I was working it out, you know. But um, I wound up spoiling them, trying to overcompensate. And when you have a spoiled child, if you aren't able to nip it in the bud at the right moment, it can be a long lasting effect. Now, out of my 6, I got one. That boy, he got some ways on him. And I pray for my child. And I know that this is partially my fault, if not 70%, okay? I mean, I can make a list of, the character traits that was picked up by other people. But we're not talking about other people today. We talking about where what I did, okay? But you have to be very careful when raising your kids. Because even though you think what may be best in the moment can spiral out of control, can backfire. And being too nice. And that's crazy, because you would think that being too mean, because we all talk about that. Oh, my mother was too mean. Oh, my grandmama was so mean. Oh, you know. But being too nice can ruin a child. And the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? And when I was coming up, I had got a few whoopings that I didn't deserve. I mean, not to say that I wasn't a child that was doing shit. I think all kids do something, right? But me personally, I can remember a couple whoopings where I wasn't able to tell my side of the story and it wasn't warranted. I didn't even do it. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, it made me get older and say to myself, oh, I'm not going to handle my kids the way my parents handled me. And sometimes that can be good. And sometimes you don't understand why your parent did something that they did. What you may deem as being mean may have been very necessary to save you from yourself. And you only come into these moments of clarity after trial and tribulation, after your moments of fuck ups. You say, oh, maybe I shouldn't have did that. I also blame myself for not choosing stronger male role models. Not to say that they were bad, because they weren't at all, you know. They were good people at the core. But there were some things that I knew that I should have or shouldn't have been doing when raising my children. And when you attach yourself to someone who is vastly different from the way that you think, it can either be a great thing that is a great help to you because you never looked at it that way and oh my God, or you can attach yourself to someone who is vastly different in the wrong ways. And when it spills out into your children, even like, I can't just say when attaching yourself, because I was a young mother. So young people do young stupid shit. And I'm not sitting here saying that all of my movements and things that may have been done and said or portrayed, or, you know, arguments that may have been had in front of them, is all teaching a child how to carry themselves in an argument on the phone. Or, I mean, I'm giving random examples that's not really connected, but regardless of how you want to see it, whatever example you set from yourself in relationship, it all spills out into the child. So me and my um, immaturity, trying to raise a child with immaturity, thinking I was grown, but far from it. Seeing where I may have messed up, trying to fix it without the tools to fix it properly. I decided at the time that in my immaturity, that overly compensating for a mistake that I felt I made was going to be the glue that fixed the fine china that broke, okay? And even though my method 75% worked, I still see the remnants of a lot of decisions that I've made in my youth through my children. And then you kind of think that once you turn away from immature things, or you give your life over to God, or whatever life changes you made, that once you make these changes, life is going to smooth itself out. But unfortunately, life usually becomes more turbulent. And it becomes more turbulent because now you're not living, you're trying to smooth out your waters, but you knew exactly how to navigate in those rocky waters at first. But now you're looking for smooth and calm, right? But you already started a tsunami and there's no turning back. Now, I'm not saying that after you go to God and allow Him to fix it, He won't. That's not what I'm saying at all. But while you waiting and when the storm is here, sometimes you have to sit in those um, mishaps, those hiccups, and say, hmm, maybe I shouldn't have did that. Life is learning experiences, you know. No manual comes with anything. I mean anything, except for something you buy at the store, you know what I'm saying? But real life, it don't come with a manual. And no matter how much good you think you may be doing, at the moment, it may not be for another 10 years before you figure out that that moment was not how you should have handled it. It was not what you should have said. It was not what you should have been doing. I think I'm rambling at this point. I'm not even sure that I have like a real topic here. Such is life.